Sirius as in the fixed star working. But that really could be said for all of the fixed stars, to be honest with you. That caution really applies across the board. And then we go into our final tier or pillar, which is stellar shamanism. So let's talk about the intelligence aspect here, right? So Sirius is kind of like this experience, kind of like gateway being or gateway deity. So if we compare it to other traditions, Hecate or Hecate, however you pronounce her name, could definitely be a correspondence in terms of what this star represents. It's vast, it's feminine, it's ancient, it's almost flood-like. It doesn't just visit, right? That's theater, that's performance. There is no depth there. There is no quality. There are no bridges or foundations of support. So fixed star magic by itself becomes theater, it becomes shopping, it becomes aesthetic. You need the relationship, you need the soul foundation for it to be meaningful enough to produce something for you. All right, and then stellar shamanism, you're really entering a relationship with that fixed star. The spell or the craft is like the invitation, but the journey is that conversation that happens after. You know, once the spell is done, there needs to be that continuation. And that is where these two come together. Now, when we look at Sidereal and stellar shamanism, these two components, the natal chart star conjunctions reveal which stellar intelligences or fixed stars already have soul contracts with you, fixed stars. And then lastly, in this system is stellar shamanism. And that's where I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's a lineage ancestral thing. It can be definitely, you know, in my situation, it is. And some of the people I've worked with, we found out it was, even though they weren't aware of it, but we did some digging. But that's not the case. I work with stellar shamans who don't have any kind of bloodline affiliation with stellar shamanism, and they are very powerful and amazing at what they do. So I want to kind of take that off the table, that there needs to be some sort of lineage or heritage there in order for you to work with this system, because that's just simply not true. So what it is, it's the animist, right? It is that consciousness first approach to this kind of work. Sometimes they can confuse, but they don't lie. So Sidereal astrology is kind of like a return to the sky as it actually is. The stars that rose when you did, they're unchanged in their positions. They're just kind of like silent witnesses to everything we are and we are becoming. But, you know, the stars do move, you guys. And it's going to occupy a nakshatra. The nakshatra's deity, symbol, and planetary ruler add a layer of texture beyond the sign. So the moon's nakshatra at birth, Janma nakshatra, sets the Vimshatari starting point. I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, fuck, I can't even pronounce or repeat half of these words. Listen, I know it sounds complicated. It's approximately 3-degree Aquarius, okay? So many people with late degree tropical planets shift signs entirely in sidereal. So like, for example, I'm Cancer. Aquarian sun in tropical, Cancer sun in sidereal. All right, integrating both systems. Some practitioners read both charts. I'm one of those. I actually read, along with this, I read harmonics. I mean, I bring in a slew because I'm looking for correlations. But for fixed star magic, you don't necessarily need to read both charts, but it's nice to understand the correlations. You know, tropical is going to give you that psychological kind of seasonal archetypal type language, right? That Jungian type language. But Sidereal provides astronomical accuracy, right? That's karma. It's more than just karmic. It's that timing aspect with karma. So neither system is wrong. They just answer different questions. And so when we're doing magic, when we are casting spells, when we are manipulating energy, transmuting energy, when we are forming divine contracts with deity and with stardust, we also need relationship building, and we need to understand when the doors are open to do that. Um, so this is step one in a three-step system. Next month, we will jump into the fixed magic rituals and aspects with breaking down all the fixed stars. So when you come into next month's EDU, have your basic sidereal chart done like we talked about and know what your fixed star associations are. Because when we jump into fixed star magic, knowing those associations is going to help you in terms of maybe some sample test workings, some rituals you might want to write up and investigate doing. So other than that, you guys stay magical and have a great evening.